And Mr. Chappell, since you wear two hats, I'd like for you to please respond to tell us whether you're here, which hat you're wearing tonight, your State Board of Education hat or your public citizen hat.
I'll be glad to, Connie. This is a real honor to be here, and I appreciate that very much. I have a handout I'm sharing with my colleagues here on the board, and you folks have tough decisions to make, and I'm very much aware of that. So I'll keep my remarks to the 3 minutes, and hopefully you can follow along with the materials I've provided. It is, in fact, an honor for me to speak to you as an elected member of the State Board of Education. Even though I'm not speaking for the board, the data which I will share comes from reports submitted to the Kansas Department of Education by school districts, including Wichita 259. This is a very important concept to be able to share. Every district, as you know, reports to our State Department, and we're trying to get a handle on how things are going statewide and by district. The good news is that Wichita School Board wisely carried forward a cash balance of $110 million in non-capital outlay, bond and interest, accounts as of July 1st, 2010. Now, obviously, we don't know how much of that is left. That's going to be something that hopefully will be reported, and we'll know at the state level by, I would think, September, October, in that time frame. But as of July 1st, 2010, there are some examples. In Wichita, this district was able to carry forward $63 million in contingency and special reserve accounts. That was unspent cash already received in the district bank accounts. $10 million was for textbooks, $12 million for special education, $5 million for food service, $2.9 million for K-12 at risk, and $1.6 million for professional development. The balance in the capital outlay account was $31.5 million. Don't know how much is left now, but that's what it was. Since it is restricted to expenses on buildings and equipment, it is my opinion that those funds should be used to install technical education equipment in the old Dillon's store right across the street from North High. Plus, put additional instructional equipment for CTE, Career and Tech Ed, in the other high schools around the city. Rather than make any cuts to instructional programs, I recommend that the funds freed up in the 12 cash accounts listed in Senate Bill 111 be used. Now, as you know, that was a bill that was just passed by the legislature and signed by the governor, I believe last week or the previous week. The formula in this new law allows much needed flexibility for school district cash flow management. And that is, in fact, the bottom line. Follow the money and be able to have the money available when you need it. Funds from the cash reserves in the other non-listed accounts can also be used by the district by not transferring funds from the general fund into those accounts. Now, some people have claimed that funding for Kansas schools has been cut back to 1992 levels.
Your 3 minutes are up. You may finish your sentence.
I don't know when you started the clock. Was it while we were talking?
No, sir, it was when you
passing out the handout?
Sir, it was when you started talking.
I'm sorry. You have the recommendations in front of you in writing. Hopefully they'll be ones that you can put into good use.
Thank you very much. Prior to leaving the podium, I think Mr. Rogers has a comment. Lynn?
No, I don't have a question. I have a correction. So.
Okay.
And you can be seated. I don't have a question of you, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I guess I do want the public to know that many of the comments that were made here about some of these funds are not and cannot be used unless we take them away from somewhere else. Contingency and special reserves are insurance funds. Textbooks, again, as Mr. Chappell should know, that we cannot spend money for textbooks unless we have the money in that account. We probably, and again, as he mentioned, that new law does let us move some over. But again, once we do that, it's one-time money. Food service is the same way. I believe there's federal regulations on that one. The special education and at-risk are actual funds that are used in the next year's budget, and they are received in the last month of the year. They cannot be spent by the year end, and nobody would want us to spend all that money at the year end. It's basically to get us, tide us over until the October funding. So again, as I've mentioned many times to Mr. Chappell, it not only includes the fund balances, but it also includes the cash management and when funds are received makes a big difference on all of those different types of things. There are a few funds that we can move money out of, and I think the superintendent has spoken to those and will continue to. But again, just like our contingency fund, once that's spent, that's spent, and it's a non-recurring money. Money just doesn't show up the next year in the textbook fund or some of those. So I guess I just want the public to know that these are not solutions. They've not been solutions for probably the 10 or 20 times that I've explained those to various groups that continue to mislead the public.
Thank you, Lynn.